thank you for coming. Let's actually go ahead and get started real quick with a word of prayer, just so we can kick all of this off. So, Lord, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing us together, those who could come. Thank you that we have the option of going live and recording for those who couldn't make it. We pray for those who couldn't make it, that you would heal them, that they would be feeling better really soon, that this wouldn't affect their Thanksgiving, but that they could get over this and be back with us again soon. Lord, thank you for a new curriculum, for guiding us to this, and I just pray that this would go well in us learning, in bringing it into our classrooms, but mostly, God, that this would help the kids to be able to learn on a deeper level, to deepen their relationship with you, to learn more about you, and to walk away just blessed. Thank you so much for these teachers and all the teachers that we have. We could not have a New Life Kids program without them, and it's just so special to work with all of them. Help this training to go well. Help us have a great day. In your name, amen. Okay. Quick housekeeping. On December 4th, we will start to have children in the sanctuary until the pastoral prayer. So for the first 2 songs, the kids are going to be in the sanctuary with their parents, except for the nursery workers. The nursery kids and workers will stay in the nursery. It would just be too much to try to get the babies out. It would be disruptive. So that's December 4th. The reason we chose December 4th is because it's a shared meal, which means that teachers generally have extra time at the end. So I felt like it was a good transition to still give you the extra time, not throw this all on you suddenly, and then be able to prepare for that. So that will start. We would like for the teachers to be in the class or in the sanctuary with their spouse or with the kids, or however it works out best. However, on Sundays that Malachi and Juliet are floaters, we need the older kids teacher to stay in the nursery to be our second body, right? Because we always have to have 2 adults in with children at all times. And Malachi and Juliet, well, we are so grateful for them. They don't count as that second adult. So we have to have whoever is working 1st through 5th in with the nursery. Also because Malachi and Juliet are doing check-in. So we need to let them do that. The way that check-in is going to work is when parents come, they're going to say hi to the check-in person. They're all going to go into the sanctuary, and the check-in person will print out name badges and bring the name badges in. I'll be assisting. We'll make it really easy and smooth, but we don't want a bottleneck in the foyer is the main reason. But also one of the reasons we're doing this is because the church feels small in the very beginning. As people start to funnel in, it really helps to bring in the energy and liven things up and see, hey, we have more than, well, except for this week, we have more than 38 people in the church. And so it would just be really good if we don't have the loud noise in the foyer, the bottleneck in the foyer, and we have the kids inside. So that's where we're going to bring them their name badges. And I'll work with the check-in people and make sure that that's all clear and good, and shouldn't mean too much. It shouldn't mean extra work for you. You'll help guide them over after the songs.
You've already started doing that, haven't you? Didn't Juliet today bring
Every once in a while, when we have a new family, we have the parents just fill something out real quick and sit down, because it takes a long time to put their names into all the systems. And so we let the parents sit so that we can finish it and then bring name badges. So you will notice on the schedule, which, by the way, for our workers, I will be emailing out a schedule once it is finalized. So we do have it. It does not have Christmas Day or New Year's Day on the schedule. The reason is we're not going to have kids' church on those days. So New Life Kids will be taking a break. They will be in the service with us. And so we don't need to worry about that one. Child safety. I just want to go over a couple of things really quickly. It is very, very important that we always have our 2 workers with no matter how many kids are in there. And even if, okay, I'm going to pick on Natalia real quick. Hi, Natalia. I love you. But only because she's my sister-in-law and she's never done this, to be clear. Never done it. She cannot have my daughter in nursery without other people. So even though she's family, same last name, everything, she can't do it because it doesn't follow the child safety rules. So if we have to be as strict as my sister-in-law cannot in the nursery watch my child as a worker, we need to be as strict as, I know these kids, it's the Tatamas or it's the Franklins or the Dorite, right? We know them, we still have to be strict. 2 workers always with children. Very, very important. Also, this applies to nursery, hopefully only, but we don't do diaper changes anymore. Just another reminder there, if parents are on campus, we do not change diapers. So, the other thing that I'm going to mention quickly, we can talk about this more, especially afterwards if there are questions, but it will, you'll hear a little bit about it through my training. We are going to have the Head Start program coming into our church. They are going to use building number 2 for their program during the week. This is going to be a phenomenal opportunity for us to be able to reach a community that we don't always reach. Sometimes we do with Foster Parents Night Out, but they really focus on foster children. They focus on low-income children, things like that. It's a great outreach for us. It's also going to help bring some income in for our church. As you know, if you've been listening the last couple months, we know that we are down in giving. It really is. Honestly, it's an opportunity that at first I didn't want to say yes to, but the more I heard about it, the more excited I got about it. It does mean us sharing this building, and we will be working that out. We're going to talk with them. We're actually going to do a site visit for one of their sites, see how they set things up, all of that to really keep communication open and make sure that it flows well for everyone. Yeah.
Did you say that starts?
That starts in January, the beginning of January. The main things that I know of that will change for us. I'm not going to pretend we know everything that's, how this is going to go exactly. But we will need to clean. We'll do a spray down of our rooms after each week, which they have a tool. A while back, we had it used in the sanctuary when COVID had just really first started coming up, and it's a sanitizing tool. It shouldn't take very long. I haven't done it yet, so I can't actually say how long it takes, but I've seen it done, and it was very quick. The other thing is we will not be able to have our posters that are Christian-based posters on the walls during the week. So I am working on a way to have easily changeable posters in our rooms. So I don't know exactly how that looks yet, but it's something that we're gonna work on to make sure we're able to have our posters up. But because it is publicly funded, we cannot have Bible verses on the walls or things like that.
So you just have to take that stuff down.
You might.
Okay.
We might have them take it down and put it up. I'm really just not sure yet. So that's where we're at there.
Jim said help take stuff down.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a new curriculum. I'm really excited about this actually, and I wanted to start with why we have a new curriculum. As a church, we believe that studying the Bible in its entirety with a central focus around Jesus is really important. We always try to make sure that Jesus is brought into everything, right? But the Bible as a whole, we're studying biblical theology right now, and I have actually loved studying biblical theology while looking at this new curriculum, because the Bible as a whole has stories that so often for kids are handpicked and either become very moralistic. Okay, this is why we don't lie, or just you don't know how they actually fit into the Bible.
Yeah,
It's
there's no rhythm to
there's no rhythm to it. There's no timeline, things like that. And then often it's, you're telling the story of Moses and Jesus is never brought up for weeks, months, whatever it is. And that's just a problem, in my opinion. So while, don't get me wrong, teaching morals are very important, it is not our main focus here. Our main focus is Jesus. So Gospel Light did a great job of teaching the Bible, but we did feel that there were times that it lacked really some of the gospel in it, and just getting the big picture, getting the timeline, making sure that Jesus is the center. So we've been looking for a new curriculum literally for years. I'm pretty sure Kristen, well before my time, was looking for a new curriculum, but we could never find one that did the prep as well as Gospel Light, while also doing the gospel as well. So now I think we found that. We have finally found something that preps well for you, because a lot of times if you want the really Jesus-focused ones, you're doing a lot of work each week to prepare. So this is, you can choose how much work you're going to do, is actually what I really like about this. But it's also very focused on God. It has a Christ connection section every week. The older kids have a timeline that they go through each week. The younger kids have a varied timeline. It's not quite as and this is exactly how this goes, but it's close. So I'm very excited. It's going to be a lot less prep for you. Thank you, Sue. I don't know how many of you know how much work Sue did in putting all of those bins together and organizing it and everything like that. I'm happy to say she's not going to have to do that anymore, but huge shout out and thank you to Sue for doing that. So the Gospel Project seems to be a curriculum that we've just always been looking for. It's going to allow for easy prep and more in-depth prep. It's really depending on the teacher's preference for how much they want to plan in advance. I highly recommend still planning in advance, but it shouldn't be, I need to write this entire lesson out. It has a lot of resources available that we already have here. We also have resources online. I've created a Google Drive that I've invited, I think, all of you to, except for Rick, sorry. But that has posters and videos and music and all sorts of things that are already in the Google Drive for you. I went through and moved things into units, because this is broken down into units and into sections, so that each week you could go to the Google Drive, find your unit, your section, and have the details there. I'm also going to be doing some of the prep for you so that you don't really have to do that. It's just going to be there as an option. So we will start this on December 11th. That's when this new schedule starts, and it just was the easiest transition for us. It actually works out really well because we're skipping Christmas and New Year's. The way that they have it, they had their Christmas in the last curriculum. So we're not actually messing with any of that. We don't have it in this unit. It just worked out. So I'm very happy. I'm going to pass out. So I need one. Let's see here and there. And then this is going to go, if Kevin and Rick wanted to look at that, that's going to Sheila. And then you ladies can have, actually, Rick. No, that works. You and Kevin can share that one. I need both of these. Here are the leader guides for our younger children. The really nice thing about this curriculum is that it also has things broken up for older kids, older elementary, younger elementary, older preschool, younger preschool, babies and toddlers. Like, we could really
if we, were to split again and have more classes, we absolutely still have the resources to do that, so.
Well, I can see that's one of my favorite parts when you have me look at it before. I've had it before where I have 2-year-olds, and I have 4 and 5-year-olds, and they're nothing in common, so I love
Yes,
it. Right now, everybody's like 4 or 5. So
yes,
got it.
yes.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
and you know what, here, I can do this. Kevin, you want this one? I think we can just use the other guy and I'll be okay, because I page number things. There we go. Okay, so if we could start, where did I want us to start? Let's see. We just want to start on page 1. Okay, that's a good starting place. I can show you the format here. So page 1 for all of us for right now. Eventually it's going to change. You're going to see the table of contents. The table of contents. This is broken up into units. As I said, it's 3 units for the quarter. And then each unit is broken up into sections. So I believe unit 4, which is where we're starting because we aren't doing the fall curriculum, right? We're starting in the winter. Unit 4 is broken up into 4 sections. Unit 5 is broken up into 5, and then unit 6 is broken up into 4 again. So that's how we do that, and then each week has a title as well. So for unit 4, session 1, God called Moses. The last session of each unit is called the Big Truth session. If you look at page 3, it says, here, I'll read it out. Each unit ends with a Big Truth session that goes into more depth of the unit's big picture questions and answer. These sessions use a Bible story that best helps illustrate the big truth covered. Think of these sessions as a time to reinforce and clarify what the preschoolers have been learning in the unit. So that's why it's broken up into units, so that we can really focus on, here's the big truth for this unit. And I believe that there's a poster that has big truth question or big truth something. So there will be that for you. Now, the one thing that threw me a little bit, but once you go through the curriculum, it's a lot easier to understand why, is that the big truth session is not necessarily in the same order as everything else, meaning we're teaching about Moses for session 1, 2, and 3, but then the big truth session jumps from Exodus to Isaiah. So it's to really bring the point home, but it's not the exact same story on the timeline. It will address the timeline, you will see later on, so that kids know where they are in the Bible, but it's going to be slightly different there. Now, if we look at pages 4 and 5, we can see more of a visual representation here of the quarters breakdown. So unit 4, unit 5, unit 6. These pictures that you're seeing on here are all in the kids' poster pack. We have a kids' poster pack for each room. So, there we go. There's the very first one, God called Moses. And you can see that in Unit 4, Session 1, that picture. We also have in the poster pack our Bible verses, and I believe our Big Truth sessions. Yep. So that's all in here. You guys are free to look at this later. I have it out for you. Okay, if we go back to page 2 and 3, we have suggested times and we have a session at a glance. So here they show you exactly how you can have your classes laid out and walk through it. Now at the beginning of each week, it shows you this in a shorter, more concise way. But this is showing you the point, why we have it in the order that we have it.
Where are the times on, oh, I see.
So they have a suggested time, but then if you go to the actual pages, it doesn't say teach the Bible story for 10 minutes.
At the very beginning, it's with those things you just showed us.
Oh, it is there. Thank you.
Yeah, that's starting.
Which page are you on?
Just the beginning, yeah, 6.
6? Perfect. Perfect. So right here at the top, we have what each thing is, how long it takes. This one says prepare, start a week before, and then how long each session should take, or section should take. So, thank you.
Which we'll have to adjust because that won't fit with the
We
time.
will absolutely have to adjust, and you're gonna see different ways that we can adjust through this. So, yes. Yep. Okay. Page 3, missions. That is something new that we're adding here. If you look at page 3, there is a missions feature. It says the missions content is designed to help, well, I have the preschoolers book, but also elementary, understand God's ongoing mission to rescue sinners around the world. This content can be customized or replaced with your church's own mission efforts if desired. So what we're going to do is the first Sunday of the month, we're going to use our own missionaries. I will prep this for you. I will have the material for you. You'll be good. The other 3 Sundays, or 4, depending on the month, we will use their missionaries. They have videos that we can show, they have pictures, they have stories. It relates more to what we're learning in the curriculum. But the reason we want to use our missionaries is because we're going to be highlighting them during shared meal. So now we've already introduced the kids to these missionaries. We're going to have maps so that they can see where they are on the map, all of those things. So that way it can be a little more interactive for the kids. It can be a little more fun. They can come in, see the colors of the flag for that country at shared meal, and then learn a little more when Bonnie does Bonnie's thing, because she's great at that. And then it'll just help tie things all together. Yes,
Is that a part of this time frame?
it is a part of that time frame. Yep, it's already built in.
So at the first session of the month, we use one of our own missionaries that we support
Yes,
and talk about them?
yes,
Okay, that's awesome.
And you
Yeah.
said you'll help us prepare that part, is that what you said?
yes, I will help. So, and you can throw that idea to Travis. He thought of the first month. Pastor Tim is going to be working more on getting the shared meals organized with the global outreach team. And so that's going to help us to know which missionaries to use. Yes.
Can we get a globe?
Yeah, yes, I actually have.
Good idea, yeah.
I have legitimately in my notes by a map or globe right there. So
That's awesome.
I will. Yes, and then I also have already purchased, unfortunately, we're gonna hear a lot about a timeline, we're gonna hear about some maps. They have not come in yet, they come in on Tuesday, but that is gonna be a fun feature. But the maps that I have purchased are maps from back when the Bible stories happened. And then we're also going to have a globe and some maps of the current layout of things, how things currently are, so that kids can see both and compare. So, and then with the whole suggested times and such, they have here, make it fit. Each session provides flexibility for customization based on the needs and structure of your ministry. The learn portion contains most or all of the videos and music, making it ideal for a large group gathering, with the welcome, love, and live portions working well for small groups. We don't break into large groups and small groups, but just so you understand, there are different sections here. You don't need to worry about what are we in. You're always in large group. Even when it says do this in small group, you're all doing it together. The entire session can be completed in small groups or as one large group or with activity stations. So we're doing it as all one large group. And we have in this quick reference section here, on page 3, we have all of these materials. So if there's anything you're looking at going, I don't know, we have it all. So you can ask me about it. All of this should be in the Google Drive folder already, because I put it there. I also have CDs that I can use to print things off, or I can give to you to print things off. I'm not sending those CDs home with anyone because we have one for each class, and I really don't want to lose them, and it's all in the Google Drive. The other thing is we have music CDs, if you would like to use their music CDs, and we have video DVDs if you'd like to use. We don't have the option of using those right now, but at some point, if we wanted to, we could find a way to do that.
You know if they're up?
The music is of the memory verse, so each unit has its own memory verse, and so they have videos or not, or just songs, but of music tied to the memory verse that you could do one with motions, you can do one with just the words, whatever you want to do there.
Okay.
And I'm trying to work out a way, still figuring this out, way too late last night trying, but to get the tablets to play the videos so that if you wanted to play the missionary video, or if you wanted to play the song video or whatever it is, you could have the tablets that we have play those. Still working on that.
Instead of getting like a TV for the classroom.
For right now, instead of getting a TV for the classroom, yes. I don't think we're quite ready to pull that trigger yet.
No, makes
Yep.
sense.
Yep.
Activity pages, are those gonna be available already, or is that something that needs to be asked for in advance?
Yes, I will, they will be ready. But I will show you the activity pages in a bit. Okay, going through the lesson. So this actually leads right into it. I'm going to talk more in depth about the resources that we currently have after I go through this lesson. So feel free to ask questions about them, but I will give you more info. I'm not just skimming over. So one thing I wanted to discuss before we really dove too far into this is with preschool in particular. We're going to be starting, as I said, in the sanctuary. Then we're going to move in to the classrooms. I think with elementary, it would be very easy to already have their activity on the table or whatever they need on the table ready to go, and they can just get started with their activity and the lesson. With preschool, do you think if we had an activity page for them, they'd be able to come in and start doing it, or they need their free time with the toys first?
Well, they don't do free time with toys very much. They
Okay.
do Play-Doh, and then when I decided that everybody is done enough Play-Doh, then we start a lesson, because I already know how much of the lesson I'm gonna do
Right.
in that book. So I think if we're gonna start a new program, we can just start doing it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, then if possible, we will always start with what this lesson has, because I believe they always start with an activity page or some kind of activity. So if you go to page 9 now. Did I talk about prep? Actually, we're gonna look at page 8 first. The reason we're looking at page 8 is it shows you here our each section of the Sunday school program, each thing done in that section, and the materials that you need, the supplies that you need. Okay, you can come back and look at this later. It's really helpful, but that just gives you a little rundown of what we're doing. Okay. When you start, back on page 7, there's a leader Bible study. This leader Bible study is going to go through what you're teaching that week. So preferably read this at home before you get there. But it's very quick. It's one page. It just gives you, hey, this is what you're teaching. So maybe you should have some background information or some extra information about the lesson. So that is specifically for you. This is I mean, it's not like it's bad to share with the kids, but it's not something that's meant to share with the kids. It is there for you to be able to get into the right head and heart space and know what you're going to be teaching. There are going to be multiple options. If we're back to page 8 and 9, you'll see on the welcome, is it the welcome? Nope. Oh, that's because I'm looking at the other page. I believe it's your guys's. Oh yes, session starter. For the older kids, the elementary kids, there are 2 session starters. And you're gonna see this also, you have a session starter. On page 9, our younger kids do have a session starter as well. There are 2 gray boxes here. That's because there are 2 options for you to do for the session starter. It has, you'll see this circle, low prep. So if you get there, you're not ready to go, this is likely the one you want to use. However, in the session starter for the older kids that I was looking at, the high prep one meant have 2 sandals. The end. That was all the prep needed was 2 sandals. So it doesn't, and honestly, I thought the game was more fun. So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to go get a box full of stuff and bring it in already ready to go. I can't tell you that never happens because I haven't read the entire book, but look at both options and see what you can do there. But don't let the low prep scare you away from the high prep because it's really not high prep. You can decide how you want to use the script, but you'll see as you're teaching. So if you go into page 10, it often says say and gives you a literal script that you can say. Feel free to use the script. In fact, I encourage you to use the script, but make it sound more natural if that's not how you're going to talk, right? You don't have to hold it up to your face and read like a robot. Just how it's going to work for you. There are often fun questions or different things to do as the kids are coming in, different things that are going to guide them to talk, so that when you're teaching your lesson, you can say, oh, and you were talking about how you liked basket. They put Moses in a basket. I mean, I don't think it's going to be that, but that kind of thing where it's going to help to direct it. Okay, let's see. They have countdown videos each week or each unit. You can use a countdown video on the tablet if you want to. I don't see the point necessarily, but if it's something that you would like, I have included it in the Google Drive. It's totally up to you. But if you see use countdown video here, use your discretion. You don't have to even use any of the videos.
Transition piece?
Yeah, the first unit is a Christmas tree and there's Christmas music in the background and it's a countdown timer. And then the other one is just a countdown timer. So, yeah. Yep. Let's see. Encourage the kids to bring their Bibles, please, especially our older kids. We want to make sure that they have a good connection with the Bible, that they understand where this is coming from. We want them to be looking up verses. And it's great. We will always have Bibles that they can use, but there is something different about your relationship with your Bible that we want to deepen so that at home they still love their Bible.
So we're not gonna have that on the desk anymore, we'll encourage them.
I would encourage them to bring their own. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then it can be an internet that they're at, with their reading.
Mm-hmm. Yes. For older kids in particular, we're really going to focus on the timeline. We're still going to address it with the younger kids and try to help them understand where it fits in the Bible. There is a in-depth timeline that we will be putting out. I'm very excited about it. And you can see, oh, again, I have the younger kids. I believe there's an actual review of the timeline. Yes, right here. Page 10 of our older kids. We have a review the timeline section each week. So that they can see how their story fits with the story from last week, with Jesus, with Adam, all of it. It's phenomenal.
How does the timeline appear? Is it like a long,
We have a long one, and then I believe we also have posters that show it in a circle.
oh,
Yeah.
good.
So, and then those, like I said with Head Start, they're gonna be coming up and down each week. We're not gonna use thumbtacks, we're not gonna use tape. I don't know exactly what we're gonna use. I'm looking at fashioning some kind of device where we can clip them on a rope or a board or something, so that they can come up and down really easily. I don't want this to be a lot of extra work for you, but also we need to make sure we have a way that we're not gonna damage the posters every time we move them.
Does that include the elementary school room? Because I thought they weren't in that one.
That's correct. You're right.
Although I did wonder if a whiteboard, a big one, would be helpful rather than the small
Possible.
portable one. If
Yeah.
there's gonna be that many things to put up and down.
It's possible. That's right. I don't think I said that. Head Start is not going to be in the room that elementary is currently teaching, for right now at least. But they're gonna be in the nursery room and the preschool kindergarten room. Okay. When you're going through the Bible story, they have a script, they have things for you to say. Feel free to embellish a little bit. My example here is, as I was reading, it said, one day Moses saw a bush on fire. I remember as a kid thinking, okay, there was a bush on fire, like that wasn't really a big deal. And they'd say, and it didn't burn. And I'd be like, okay. But I never actually thought about what that meant. So for me, I'd say, okay, so what actually happens when something's on fire? When you go do a campfire with your family and you light a marshmallow on fire, what happens? Or what happens to the wood or things like that, so that they can actually picture, like, it burns to ash, it shouldn't be there anymore, and this bush wasn't burning, right? Feel free to add what you need to make sure that the kids are understanding, and it's easy to bring it back to what they're teaching. So you will see a Christ connection section in each of the lessons. This is to make sure that we understand where God's plan for Jesus is in our story, or how this relates to Jesus, always. So make sure that that is a focus. It's not something we want to skip. It is a huge part of why we chose these lessons. The key passage marker and the big picture question, which you'll see if you're looking through these, you're just going to see different things. It says, oh, here's the big picture question. They're posters that you will have available for the kids to be able to see as a visual. Older kids, I said, so they didn't work in snack for the older kids. They did in the younger, but in the older kids, they didn't. I suggest thinking about doing snack during the review and Bible skills section and the group discussion, so that you can all sit, eat, talk. I've seen some of the teachers do that already. That's kind of when they often do snack. So that's what I would recommend. I'm also not teaching, and you guys are really good teachers. So if you have something that you think is going to work better, we're very flexible. We do always recommend a snack, though. The kids know it and expect it and enjoy it, and usually it makes class go a little better when they're not hangry. So for the mission moment, I know the very first one talks about showing the video. You can, or you can choose not to, but also I will have the tablet hopefully available for you to use to show those videos.
Do we have enough tablets for 2 classrooms?
Yes, yes. So what I think we'll do is we'll have 2 tablets in the elementary class, if I can, so that, because you usually have more kids, I don't want to try to get 8 kids watching 1 tablet, so if we can do 4 and 4, that would be better. And then for our younger kids, I think we could do 1 tablet. So,
Are we free to bring in computers to show?
you
our
are.
computer,
You are
if that's
absolutely free to
easier?
bring in your own computer, whatever is best for you guys.
Because it'll
And
be
easier.
accessed on the Google Drive.
Yes, you can access it from your computer.
So laptop might be
Easily.
easy.
Yes,
Yeah.
and easier to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. You're gonna see something that says post the allergy alert poster. Don't do that. We have name tags. I'm not printing the allergy alert poster for you. I don't think it's necessary. If a child has an allergy, it's going to be on their name tags, or it should be, and our food doesn't really have allergens anyway, so
So it looks like all the classes are lined out with about 9 pages each, is that kind of the way it is?
That seems to be about right.
Yeah,
You have the older, so it's possible younger is a little less, but I'm not sure.
and it's always laid out the same way.
It is
You know,
always laid out the
it's
same way.
really good, yeah.
Yep. So then to wrap it up, I know that for the end, the older kids have a journal and prayer time. And then the younger kids have coloring. I recommend praying first and then having the older kids journal, because then as parents come, they get to take their journals home, and they can finish at home. And then I think that if they aren't wanting to write something out or aren't comfortable write something out, it's great to have them draw what they're thinking or draw their answers or whatever that might be. For the younger kids, I believe it's a coloring page, which I will have for you.
Is the journal page separate, or do they get like an actual
Yes,
journal that
so-
they get to bring back and forth, or?
The journal page, I think it's right here. Am I wrong? Yeah, journal page. So it's actually very much laid out like our talk sheets. There's a question and answer, and these they get to take home, and I'll show that in just a second. Sorry. Question, answer, question, answer. So that's the journal page for the older kids. For the younger kids, we have the coloring page.
This is a rip-out page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll show you this. This is our activity pages. I'm going to show you this in just a second, but they will be able to take it home with them. So, there's my notes. Okay, and then they can color, play, for younger kids until parents come. Yeah. Okay, resources. We have these activity pages that I was just showing you. These, let me think of how to phrase this. One book is for one kid for the entire unit.
Oh,
So, what you'll do is you'll write, Taylor, thank you. I was like, not Malachi, not Juliet, like I'm going down the town of a list, realizing they're not in class anymore. You'll write Taylor here, right? This stays here, this book itself, and then you rip out that week's page and give it to them, right? So every time they'll already have this ready for them, but they have their book, you'll give them their page, they get to take that home. This will get smaller and smaller until it's gone, but that's how we have it organized. If you have guests, give them the page. Do not write their name on the top until we know that they're coming consistently, because we don't want Sarah to come, have an entire activity page, but now Sarah's only come once. So yes, I maybe even write guest on the top so that you know which one's been used. But that will be for them. It's for them to take home. It has, I believe when you first go in, yes, it has the activity that you're gonna do when the kids first come in to kind of transition into class. And then it has the journal page and a blurb of what we've learned. So about the lesson, so they can talk about it with their parents, they can discuss it, it gives them something to think about. We have a lot of things that are going to help support the kids and their parents throughout the week, so that this isn't just a Sunday morning thing. I'm really excited about that. In fact, I'm actually just gonna jump to them. We have big picture cards. How did I word this? This was one set of cards per age group per family. So for the Doris family, they get one of the older kids and they get one of the younger kids. For the Tadema family, they get one of the older kids, even though there's two of the kids in there, they don't need two of them. Okay, and the reason is these big picture cards go through that week's lesson. So it has the picture that they're gonna have already seen. And then it has family discussion starters. So why did Moses have to take off his sandals, right? So things that we've addressed on Sunday that we've talked about, they can now talk about with their family. And then it has a family activity that they can choose to do or not to do. This one, if weather and local ordinances permit, make a campfire to sit around as a family, right? So there's just different things to do each week that they can go through and read this and learn more at home. So I'm very excited about that. We also, as a church, are giving each family one big story Bible storybook. This is for them in general. It has information, it has the stories that we're going through, but not the exact ones, right? So it's not going to line up exactly with our curriculum in that they're not reading the exact same words. But it still has all of the stories. Moses confronts Pharaoh, the Passover, all of that they can now read at home together as a family. So this, again, isn't, oh, look, you learned this on Sunday, we're only gonna read this one. I'm hoping that they'll read all of them, right? But this is a good way for us to just be able to send home a resource for families in our church.
Are you gonna take care of?
I will take care of getting that, yes, to them. Posters I've shown you, timelines and books. Oh, we're also getting books of the Bible posters. These are really cool also because it has not just, here's a poster with all the books of the Bible on them. Here's a poster on Genesis. Here's information on Genesis. Here's how Christ connects to Genesis. So we will have those as we're teaching through. I'm going to print out bookmarks that tell the parents where we're at each week so that they can see, if they're home doing the big picture lesson or something like that, they know where they're at. Okay, and then the online resources are the Google Drive that I've talked about. I personally have already created the Google Drive. I'm going to talk through how I will support you guys, and I'm happy to support in other ways, but so that you guys aren't stressing about printing and all of this. I'm personally already created the Google Drive for you. I'm going to print out activities, like activity pages that it already has for you, tells you to do. So you don't need to go find those. I'm going to prep the missionary materials for you, and then all the posters are going to be laid out for you as well. So you shouldn't have to come here and print a bunch of things unless you've been reading through and you go, oh my gosh, I have this amazing resource on Moses. I need to print this out. You're still welcome to come and use the printer, print everything out, that's fine. But you will already have it all prepped and ready for you.
How will you know what activity choice we?
The activities,
Or is that?
I think I used the wrong word, to be honest, because
The activity paper is already.
the activity paper's there, but they do have a couple of add-on things. It's not a ton, so I'm fine printing them off either way. And you can choose if to use them or not use them. Yeah. Okay. Are there any questions?
Not yet.
Thanks for doing all this work on this.
Yeah.
You did a lot of planning and really thoughtful.
Thank you.
It's really good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Honestly, it was fun to find it and go through it and all of those things.
Will you, anything that you're printing ahead of time, where will you put all?
I will put it in your class. Ooh. I will put it in your classroom.
Okay.
I will probably put it in the I will put it in the elementary classroom for sure. I will probably put it in the preschool classroom. But because Head Start's in there, I'm just gonna have to figure out how we're doing that. Yeah, yep. So, were there any questions on there?
Jimmy says, no questions at this time, thanks.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I'm really excited. Feel free to look at all the materials. We do need these books back. Actually, our class leads can take their books home, but otherwise we will need the book back. So we have enough for each classroom lead to have one leader guide.
How do people read their lessons beforehand then?
You get to go home with, the classroom lead gets to go home
I
with
gotcha.
their own leader guide.
I was thinking
Yeah.
the head person.
Oh, yeah, no.
Gotcha.
So the first lesson is gonna be on the 4th,
On the 11th.
on the 11th.
On the 11th. The first lesson will be on the 11th. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Seeing as how that's Brenda, I got some explaining to do when I have to.
You can also tell her I'm going to, the reason I did this on YouTube Live is so that I can download it, edit it, so we don't have all the music, and send it out.
Okay.
Yeah, yep. So it will be available for everyone to see again. You'll get an email because I'm sending everyone an email with the link. So.
I suspect she won't be viable for another 3 or 4 or 5 days anyway.
Oh, really? Oh.
A little week in the gills.
Bummer. All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for coming, and feel free to eat more and look through.